And we are back to What Did AI Say at VickyL-4AI on YouTube. As always, gratitude is the attitude. Thank you so very much for coming back to the podcast. Before we jump into today's question, which is going to be episode number 90, I wanted to just do a quick review. Last episode, number 89, we asked about the pay-as-you-go pension plan that we subscribe to in the United States. Chatgpt used the word most and a lot of. And what I've noticed in my own AI research is that anytime you see those keywords and others like it, that means that information is usually has been left out or something has been changed. So what I wanted to do was take a deeper dive and see how other countries do their pension plans for their citizens. So let's go ahead and get into today's question. What we asked AI exactly. Which countries don't have pay-as-you-go retirement systems? How do their pension plans work? Okay, so we're going to start with ChatGPT. Here we go. Most countries use some form of pay-as-you-go, PAYG public pension, but a few rely primarily on fully funded or alternative systems instead. No large modern economy has zero pay-as-you-go elements. They keep hyping on that, but some minimize or largely replace it. Countries with little or no traditional PAYG reliance. They start with Singapore. Mandatory savings fully funded. System, Central Provident Fund, CPF. How it works. Workers and employers contribute to individual accounts. Money is saved and invested, not transferred to current retirees. Funds can be used for retirement, housing, healthcare. Key feature, your retirement depends mostly on your own accumulated savings, not demographics. Chile, privatized pension model, partially reformed. System, individual retirement accounts, AFP system. How it works. Mandatory contributions go into private investment funds. Benefits depend on investment returns and contributions. Notes. Originally, one of the purest non-PAYG systems has added state-funded minimum pensions due to inequality concerns. The next one is Hong Kong. Mandatory Provident Fund system. Defined contribution accounts. How it works. Workers and employers contribute to privately managed funds. Retirement income depends on account balance at retirement. Key feature, minimal intergenerational transfer. Australia, superannuation system, hybrid but heavily funded. System, mandatory employer contributions to super funds. How it works. Employers must contribute 8% of wages into investment accounts. Large pool of privately invested retirement assets. Important, there is a means-tested public pension, but it's a safety net, not the primary system. New Zealand, tax-funded flat pension, system, universal basic pension, NZ Super. How it works. Paid from general tax revenue, not payroll contributions. Everyone above a certain age receives a flat benefit. Key distinction, not contribution-based PAYG, more like a universal welfare benefit. Countries that tried to move away from PAYG but partially returned. Sweden uses a notional defined contribution NDC system. Still PAYG at its core, but mimics individual accounts mathematically, includes a real funded component alongside PAYG. Poland and Hungary introduced private accounts in the 1990s through the 2000s. Later rolled back much of the privatization due to fiscal pressure. Key models compared. Model, example countries, funding method, who pays retirees, PAYG traditional. Wait, is that there? Okay. I hate when they do this. Most of Europe, U.S. current workers, taxes, younger generation, fully funded individual. Singapore, China, personal savings and investments, yourself, hybrid. Australia, Sweden, mix of savings and PAYG, both. Tax funded universal. New Zealand, general taxation, government budget, import and takeaway. True non-PAYG systems shift risk from demographics, PAYG, to markets and individual earnings funded systems. Most countries keep some public component to prevent poverty, stabilize income for retirees who save too little, and Chatgpt's bottom line. Pure alternatives to PAYG exist. So they do finally admit that, although all throughout this answer, they've tried to make sure that you know that PAYG is like a constant. But we'll see what Deepseek has to say. Okay, let's finish this. Let's continue. Pure alternatives to PAYG exist. For example, Singapore, Chile, but they often require restrict mandatory savings, still need government backup mechanisms. As a result, most systems globally are now hybrids. Finally, most systems globally are now hybrids, balancing individual responsibility, collective support. Chatgpt also says if you want a comparison with the U.S. or your specific country system, it can make those differences clearer. Okay, so that was ChatGPT's answer, and we did get in that answer them admitting that most countries do not do the pay-as-you-go anymore. They have a hybrid. Okay, let's go ahead and get to Deepseek's answer, because I always think Deepseek, for questions about the United States, does go into more detail. Okay, so just in case you forgot the question, please allow me to repeat it. Which countries don't have PAYG, the pay-as-you-go retirement systems? How do other pension plans work? Okay, here is Deepseek's answer. Many countries have moved away from traditional pay-as-you-go PAYG systems, where current workers' contributions fund current retirees' benefits, and instead rely on alternative models. Now we're getting somewhere. These include mandatory savings, provident funds, non-contributory social pensions, or a complete absence of a state-backed system. Here is a summary of the key alternative approaches and the countries that use them. Countries without a mandatory PAYG system. According to the International Labor Organization, ILO, about 15% of countries lack a mandatory Social Security system. These are often low-income nations where informal employment is widespread, making formal contribution collection difficult. Examples include Somalia, Yemen, Tuvalu, and parts of Nepal. These countries either have no formal system or one with extremely low coverage. Provident fund systems, fully funded individual accounts. These systems require mandatory contributions from employees and employers into individual accounts, which are invested and paid out as a lump sum or annuity at retirement. This model is common in several Asian and African nations. Singapore, Central Provident Fund. Malaysia, Employees Provident Fund. India, Employees Provident Fund. Indonesia, Kenya, Nigeria, Sri Lanka, Fiji, Ghana, Nepal, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and the Solomon Islands. Non-contributory pensions, social assistance. These schemes provide a basic pension funded entirely by general taxation without requiring individual contributions. They are often means tested or universal. New Zealand, superannuation, a universal residence-based pension that does not require contributions. Botswana, South Africa, Namibia provide non-contributory old age pensions. Bangladesh, Canada, Mexico offer social assistance based old age benefits. Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Costa Rica have non-contributory schemes often targeting rural or low-income elderly. Countries with no basic or minimum pension. The OECD reports that 4 of its member countries have neither a basic nor a minimum pension: Australia, Finland, Germany, and the United States. 4. These countries rely primarily on earnings-related social insurance, which is often PAYG, pay as you go, or mandatory occupational pensions, but they do not provide a flat rate basic pension. 4 countries: Australia, Finland, Germany, and the United States. How alternative pension plans work. Provident funds. Contributions are held in individual accounts and invested. Upon retirement, the accumulated balance is paid out as a lump sum or used to purchase an annuity. The system is self-financed and does not involve intergenerational transfers. Non-contributory pensions. Funded by general government revenue, these schemes provide a safety net for the elderly. They may be universal, for example, New Zealand, or means-tested, Mexico. No system. In countries without any formal pension, the elderly rely on family support, personal savings, or informal work. Now, Deepseek says if you're interested in a specific country or would like more details about a particular type of pension plan, let it know and it can do a deep dive for you. Okay, so there you have it. The pay-as-you-go is not what most countries do. Most countries do a hybrid where they either have a basic and and some form of pay-as-you-go, or they have the individual savings account per person and some form of pay-as-you-go. So how does any of this affect our daily lives? When you open up your mind and expand your horizon and learn what other countries do instead of ignoring what other countries do and thinking that your country is the best country that does everything better, you begin to learn that there are other options out there. For example, 2-party political systems. How does that benefit 345 million people? We already asked AI that question. So you'll have to go back and look at the previous episodes to find the answer. But the answer was that it doesn't, and it broke it down as to why. So why do we continue to only have a 2-party political system in a country of 345 million people, whereas no one truly is represented in either party? At some point, we have to say to ourselves, this doesn't work. It doesn't matter if that's all we've known. It doesn't matter if that's all we've done. If we want to elevate our country, we have to be willing to make necessary changes that better our systems and our way of life for everyone, not just for a selected few. A selected few that oftentimes tend to be white and racist. We have to make these changes. They're fundamental. They have to be done because we can't go back to what has not worked. That makes no sense at all. Okay, let's go ahead and move to our positive saying for today. And hopefully it is a positive saying. Let's see if I know who it came from. A philosopher by the name of Alan Watts. And what did he say? Oh, okay. This is a good one. I like this. So the universe and the potential for it is inside our awareness. You are not inside it. So basically what he says is that you are the universe experiencing itself. I like that. Okay, so that was philosopher Alan Watts. And let's do that again. Let's say that one more time. The universe and the potential for it is inside our awareness. We are not inside of it. We are the universe experiencing itself. That's good. That's really good. Okay. Oh, this was a quick one. Thank you so very much for giving me a little over 16 minutes of your time. This was episode number 90. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe. We the people have the power. See you next episode. Peace.